Right, let's take this discussion further by welcoming Dr. Pali Lehohla, a professor of practice at the University of Johannesburg and a former Statistician General of South Africa. Doctor, great having you with us on the show. Good afternoon. So let's talk about the current progress or outputs by Eskom as highlighted by their team in Parliament, emphasizing, though, the need for increased generation and also to ensure that load shedding will only be implemented in exceptional situations, as they put it. So what does this point to, in your view, that we are out of the energy crisis slump just as yet, or we're still pretty much in that predicament?
In matters death, there is a saying that we must know what killed the dead in order to save those who are alive. For 6 years, we are subjected to a terrible load shedding that killed the economy. It is important to go back to that page, deal with it thoroughly. Without that, nobody will ever be held accountable in this country. From 2018 to March 2024, around the 24th of March, we have been subjected to a very, very diabolical load shedding that has caused businesses to close, that have impugned incredible pain on students, on education, on the social life of South Africa. That chapter we have to understand. Short of that, we'll never get rid of this problem. But we must congratulate the team that came in and dealt with this matter by sticking to what has always been said, both by Makoko and Maroha, that maintain the fleet. And the team that is there is maintaining the fleet. The one that came before was saying that the fleet is old, it cannot be used. All kinds of things have happened that are incredibly undemocratic, unscientific, didn't follow the rules of engineering. Someone has to be held to account. Having said that, certainly the people that we have there understand engineering, understand what should be done with Eskom. And we certainly can be assured that we have the right excellence in that space. Mm-hmm. Having said that, it is not only the stockpile of coal by Eskom, but it's the IPPs that are paid whether there is electricity or not, or whether we need the electricity or not. All those things have to be subjected to a review. Because otherwise, the 30% that we have to pay as citizens on an energy system that falls under what one could call administered prices, it is not sustainable for livelihoods of citizens. It's not sustainable for lives of industry. So the Eskom chapter in our life is a serious chapter that requires serious interrogation and investigation.
Absolutely, Doctor. I mean, not to speak even of the tariff increases when you talk about sustainability there. So, of course, this report back to Parliament now coincides with the highly contentious issue of unbundling of the entity with the launch, the recent launch of the NTC South Africa, effectively kickstarting that entire process. Many expectations around how futuristic technology at this facility will then assist in clean and efficient running of the utility. Are we ready, though, to start with this implementation phase?
I'm not sure, but the Eskom is an engineering and an economic behemoth, and those are integrated systems. I, for one, don't believe in the unbundling, because part of what triggered this unbundling was an accountant's requirement to see how the money flows. And by so doing, a misdiagnosing of the problem, and therefore creating new systems that do not follow the laws of economics and engineering. So in my book, it's not a necessary thing. You have 3 boards on an entity that supplies energy. I don't see why that should be the case. It never was a problem. The problem was politicians went in there, destroyed Eskom, misdiagnosed what the problem was, probably deliberately so that there could be a feeding trough for many, both in diesel and all other things. So I don't buy into the unbundling of Eskom into several units. I am for one Eskom with one board that oversees energy in South Africa, and Eskom being a responsible dispenser of this energy, because the burdens and challenges of South Africans are so heavy,
absolutely,
especially for the poor.
Doctor, a very quick one, maybe in closing. Of course, there's still a lot of changes that the utility still has to implement as per their own turnaround strategy. And we know that it's been a while. You spoke about accountability. It's been a while that we're actually seeing representatives of the power utility actually presenting themselves before Parliament to account. So things are slowly moving in the positive direction. And also, I suppose, with the GNU taking shape, budgets being allocated, some departments also having tabled their plans of action, I was hoping to maybe get a sense of what you feel the power utility still needs to iron out, especially at the back of the announcement that, of course, nuclear energy is not something that we will be exploring at this stage, just at the back of your comment about unbundling.
Well, I think nuclear is the future. There is no doubt. And South Africa had that in abundance, that is both in skills and in terms of Kuber. And if we have to think about leaving coal, nuclear is a sure candidate to come in because it's green, it meets all the requirements. So I think we cannot do without nuclear, and it has to be explored as quickly as possible. And the professionals at Eskom at the moment certainly give us confidence that all these things will be certainly considered, and nuclear should be part of the program.
All right.
Accountability, yes, we need accountability, whether it's government of national unity or any government. We cannot say we are accountable because we have government of national unity. We have to be accountable at all times. Abandoning that is actually a disgrace.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for your input this afternoon. Dr. Pali Lehohla, they commenting on the appearance of Eskom before SCOPA.